So welcome everyone to another video, and in this video I'm going to be talking about my thoughts and opinions with the AirPods lineup. So let me tell you a story. The reason I got hooked onto the AirPods, it goes back to the time when I was in uni and I was working multiple jobs to ensure that I could pay the university fees and stuff like that. And I was working at a gas station middle of the night. That used to be my shift, and that was also the time that I would get to talk with my family back home. But before I had AirPods, picking the phone up like this and then you only have one hand free, you can't work to the fullest ability. So I was like, okay, this is not good. And also I had to stock up the freezer of the gas station as well, because we used to sell grocery items, cold drinks and stuff like that as well, milks. So we had to stock up the fridge, and I used to do that like around like 2 a.m. because my shift was like basically a midnight graveyard shift. It presented a lot of challenge because inside the freezer there would be no reception. So whilst working, even putting the phone on speaker mode, I wouldn't be able to because of the lack of reception that the freezer had. The original AirPods, the first ever AirPods, launched around the same time. And I was like to myself, okay, maybe I can try this because it's wireless and I might be able to have the communication whilst working as well. And maybe I can leave my phone outside the freezer and try it like that. I got the AirPods, the original one. I ordered them. And once it came, I experimented. I left my phone outside the freezer because there was a reception outside the freezer. And inside, I walked in with the AirPods on and connected to my phone. And because it was within the range, I was able to have seamless conversation with my family back home with no interruption whatsoever, and also ensuring that I'm working to the full ability. Ever since then, I've been pretty happy with the AirPods and have been amazed by it, because to me, it presented a lot of the convenience, especially being an iPhone user as well. It's very convenient when you're working. It's very minimalistic. It doesn't have wires tangling each and everywhere. It comes in like a small container like this. This is the first gen AirPods Pro, but yeah, it's very similar. I was hooked on ever since then, and then came the AirPods Pro. And by this time, I had already moved on to a professional job. And during the launch day, me and a couple of my work friends, we were out for lunch. We were walking past the Apple Store when we saw the AirPods Pro ad outside the Apple Store, and we were like, okay, let's get this, because I was pretty happy with the first ever AirPods. Maybe this is going to be pretty good as well, because it has noise cancellation, it had transparency mode, and one of my work friends as well was like, okay, let's get it. So both of us got it, and we've been happy ever since. Especially in my case, I was able to block out the external noise while using public transport, focus on my music or podcast, and if I really wanted to, when someone was talking to me, change to transparency mode so that I could hear them, understand them properly as well. It was amazing. And because I had now two AirPods, one was the original and the other one was the first gen AirPods Pro, I decided to give my first ever original AirPods to my brother back home so that he could experience the same thing, because I didn't want to keep both of them because there was no use. I've been happy with the first gen, and now that the second gen is out, I was like, do I really need the second gen? Yes, the second gen AirPods Pro has the ability, the case, you can track it using Find My, which is pretty good, similar to AirTags, and you can't do that with the first gen. But just for that and maybe a newer chipset, it didn't make sense to spend another 400 Australian dollars, because for the first gen AirPods Pro, that is what I spent. And I was like, well, I could send the AirPods Pro, the first gen, back home to my brother so that he can experience this, and maybe I can get the second gen. I can't even send back home because my brother already has this. So what to do? Should I keep this, the first gen AirPods Pro, and also get the second gen? It didn't make sense. It was going to be a money waste. So I was like, well, if I get the second gen AirPods Pro as well, and I only notice a tad bit difference in audio, the noise cancellation, I'm pretty happy with the first gen AirPods Pro noise cancellation. It doesn't bug me. So if it doesn't bother me that much, why should I spend another $400 to get something very similar? Because I also have the AirPods Max, which I mostly use when I am sitting in front of my computer or at work to get in the zone, focus, and cancel out all the external noise, because I'm more of a headphone person than a in-ear buds person. And I was like, it doesn't make sense for me to get the second gen AirPods Pro while I have the first gen AirPods Pro and then also the AirPod Max, which was a gift to me. And so that's why I didn't buy the second gen AirPods. But I've been hearing good feedbacks from people who have actually bought it. They're pretty happy with the spatial audio, noise cancellation. it's pretty amazing based on all the reviews that I've seen or heard people talking about it. But for people who already have a good working condition first gen AirPods Pro, it is going to be a money waste in my view. But yeah, if you are up for it, spending another 400 Australian dollars or whatever the currency rate is in your country, if you're willing to spend that much, then yeah, maybe it's going to be worth it for you. But for someone who already has this and you can't get rid of this, because if I do plan to sell it, I'm going to have to sell it at a loss. Because obviously it's not in the box and it's not new. I've used it, so it has to depreciate. I fully understand that. I bought this for 400 Australian dollars. If I sell this for 200 Australian dollars, then I would have to add another 200 to get the second gen AirPods. And to me, like, it doesn't sound too good, because this is pretty good in terms of like the condition, and also pretty happy with the noise cancellation and the spatial audio as well as the transparency mode. So didn't feel right to me. And I obviously can track this in Find My. It doesn't ring when I press ring, but that's a separate story, because I'm pretty careful with my AirPods and my devices. So I'm not worried about losing this and not having the ability to make the case ring. So that doesn't bother me. That is my thoughts and opinion. If you have an AirPods Pro, the first gen, and also the AirPods Max, then 100% in my view, the AirPods Pro second gen, which is very similar to this one, might be money waste or useless, because you're not going to be able to notice that much difference. Yes, there is difference, but it's not night and day if you already have the first gen and also the AirPods Max. And if you don't have the AirPods Max but have the first gen, unless you can get rid of this by gifting it to someone, the first gen that you have, it's going to be money waste, because you're going to have two, which is going to be very similar. And just imagine you got the second gen while you still have the first gen, and you're not able to notice that much of a difference. You're just going to be like, oh, I wasted the money for no apparent reason. And maybe you can get some money back by selling your first gen. I think it's pretty safe bet if you have the first gen AirPods Pro to not get the second gen. Maybe wait for the third gen, because next year they are going to have a new model. By then, who knows? This may stop working for whatever reason, which I doubt it, because this is pretty durable. It's lasted a long time for me. Sometimes I've even had it in my pants and that has been into the washer and then it has come out alive. So this is pretty durable, and it has seen a lot of falls out of my pocket. Still managed to survive without a case. That's where I'll leave it. I'm pretty sure all the things I've talked about, you can make your own judgment by listening to this. But thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Till next time, peace.